Hello, and welcome to Creativity with Don Allen III Live. Today we're going to be working on making an AR filter where you get to become Dr. Octopus or Doc Ock. We'll be using a couple of programs. We'll be using Cinema 4D, Adobe Substance 3D Painter, and we'll be also using a program called Lens Studio. The goal will be to get something like this. So this is from this is from the 2004 movie with Spider-Man. That's Dr. Ock, and he has this ability to control four robotic tentacle arms with his brain, and they look like this. And they can, they come out of the brain on the back of the spine, and then they can move them around and stuff with his mind. And so we're going to be making these arms in so that you can wear them too in a full body AR thing. We'll also be needing to make his glasses. We'll need to make a trench coat and yeah, and we'll get these little arms to animate very much like this because I really like they're very lifelike. Each one feels like it's its own little serpent. Other inspiration is this. This is the end of the trailer for the new Spider-Man No Way Home movie. They have a feature of the Green Goblin, and at the very end here they show a modern version of Doc Ock, and I was like, that's dope. We need to make that into an AR filter, okay? So that before the movie comes out, people have something to use to show their fandom. The key here is like this is not a partnership with anybody at this time other than the other collaborator here, which is Jeetesh Singh, who made the claw. And we're going to be working on animating it, painting it, getting this working. And then we'll tag the heck out of the folks at Spider-Man and Sony and Marvel because then we'll see it and maybe they'll ask for it and who knows. But it'll just be fun to make anyway. What's that thing? So before we began, I actually did a little test. I managed to get these four little crappy arms I made to animate and attach to the spine in AR. And so now that my little principal test has worked, I'm now down to make a lot more higher quality assets that are going to be replacements of these ones that, a lot more life, a lot more texture, a lot more animation control. We're going to be doing that right now. So let's get started inside of Cinema 4D. So I started off and I made this arm. This was the claw arm that I made. And what I just did was I animated a claw opening and closing, and and then I gave it and I connected it to this little spine-like thing. Um, Again, this was just me trying to make something. It wasn't you know, not the end result. I just wanted to know if this would work. And since this one totally worked, I feel comfortable moving on into the next several phases here. So let's do that. So first off, this is the project file that Jeetesh Singh made, and it's really nice. We got this wonderfully rigged mechanical looking arm. And I love how everything is parented so that it's going to be very friendly to animate, which is what we're going to be doing in a second. And we also have I think Jeetesh also provided another cool thing. I think they made the arm as well. So let's go ahead and find the arm. I'm going to look for the non-rigged arm and bring that in. So we'll be doing the rigging ourselves. So take a look at this. Look at this beautiful arm. It's got the exact look, the proper look from the movie. If I display the lines, you can see that it's made out of a very solid, friendly amount of polygons. Let's take a look at how many polygons we're talking about. We're looking at, that's great. So this arm is just about 1,000 or almost 2,000 polygons. So it's very lightweight. So we're going to bring these two together. I'm going to copy this arm over and bring it into the claw and bring that into the scene. Awesome. And then I'm going to center it in my scene here. So I'm going to grab my arm coordinates and then reset its position. And I might even take off. There might be some animation in here. I might want to remove any animated keyframes so that we are working off of a blank canvas. Awesome. Go to the arm. It's not letting me set the coordinates. Let me unfreeze the coordinates and then set all these to 0, 0, 0, 0. Great. So now the arm, sits right here. And then we're going to put the claw object. I'm going to move the claw object to the very top of the arm here. Something something Spider-Man. All right. So cool. So just again remind you, Jeetesh Singh made this geometry, which saves me a lot of time. And now I'm just going to be rigging it up, animating it, texturing it, so that we can wear this in AR. For those of you just joining, there's a character in
Hello,
Spider-Man named
kid.
Doc Ock. It's this dude, and he has these like 4 mechanical
Hello, kid.
arms that he can control with his brain. And we're making this into an AR filter that you can wear. So this is going to be the end goal, is to have these 4 arms that attach to your back in a kind of crisscross kind of fashion. And then there are arms that you can use to manipulate things, and it will be really cool. This is the kind of filter that I've always wanted to make, but until I was able to get something that supported full 3D body tracking, it didn't really make sense to implement. Otherwise, if someone's like head turned, it would like it would take them off the body. And I wanted these to be attached to the body, which we can totally do now. Just looking at some stuff here. Cool. Yeah, so it's always good to have some visual inspirations to help guide your designs, and I think that should be perfect. Okay, so first things first, I want to look at the animation of an individual claw. So looks like what they do is they kind of open up slowly, which is kind of menacing, and then looks like they're attacking some folks here. Oh yeah, that's really scary. But what I'm mostly looking at right now, usually I do a pro trick with YouTube. I'm not sure if you knew this, but in YouTube, if you use the comma and the period button, you can actually go frame by frame, instead of jumping in 5 or 10 second intervals. So this is very helpful when you're trying to study an animation. So I want to see how does the claw open up? So if I go through it, so it looks like the claw starts off in a closed state, and then within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10. It's about 10 frames before the claw is at. I'm looking at this claw. It's about 10 frames before the claw opens up. So the claw is open. All right, so let's see. So it's a 10. Yeah, we got about 10. It's about 10 frames of the claw starting to open up. Do 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 do. Double checking. Cool. All right, so yeah, it's about 10 frames, and it kind of like it goes up almost like in a hiss. It looks actually very much like a snake. I bet they reference snakes to get an idea of how to do the body coil. So I'll definitely take some inspiration from that. But at least for the claw opening, it looks like it's about 10 frames. So let's get in there. I'm going to be animating this at just 30 frames a second. So 1 second is 30 different frames, which means at, you know, we'll start off with thing closed, and then we'll go to an open state. I'm going to start off by going to um, all the parts that I'm going to be animating. In this case, all I'm really going to be animating is the rotation on the I don't know what axis that is, but I'm only going to be really animating the position there. So I'm going to set these all to 0. Actually, that's maybe not the best. Let me set them all to, let's see, what's a good almost closed state? Maybe I'll set them all to 6 degrees to start. Or maybe minus 160 degrees. Is that passing the center? No. Let's do minus 150 degrees. And then a little bit more, minus 155. Oops. Let's do minus 155. There we go. All right, so I'm going to set all of these to minus 155 so that we kind of have them all starting in relatively the same positions, or actually in this case, the exact same position. This is going to be like my closed state. I'm just trying to see how close I can get to the top of the arms before it feels kind of strange. Oh, oh no, I got a copyright warning. Let me see what it says. Oh, dang it, I just got a copyright warning for playing the Spider-Man theme song on YouTube. Dang. Let me I'm gonna end that stream because I don't want this to get destroyed. Because if I just keep going, there's a high chance that after the stream is done, YouTube will take it down. Let me end the stream on YouTube. That sucks. End stream. End. Okay. I'm gonna